In addition to all the automatic controls that GeneXus Next includes in the applications it generates, sometimes those who request the application ask for some specific controls to be performed. They could, for example, request that the system doesn't allow entering products without a name, or simply to warn the user if they didn't enter a price. Rules are used to define controls of this type in a transaction, including the assignment of default values and the definition of controls on the data. These rules are written declaratively and can involve attributes, variables, and functions, but we will take advantage of the GeneXus Next Assistant to facilitate this task. In addition to the general assistant that we have already used, we also have the option of using an assistant that is integrated into each object to apply what we ask directly to that object. To do so, we must access the source of the transaction. And for example here, type 3 slashes to start the communication with the assistant, and ask the following. Check that no product are entered without a name. When we press enter, we see that the assistant suggests adding an error rule. This rule is used to prevent the user from confirming the transaction as long as the condition is met. That is, in this example, as long as the value for the product name attribute is empty, the user will not be able to commit the transaction for the new product to be inserted. We agree with the assistant's suggestion. So we press the Tab key to confirm. We run it. The new definitions included in the knowledge base will be saved and evaluated. In this case, it will infer that it is not necessary to modify the database, so it will not show an impact analysis report. The necessary code will be generated, and the updated application with the new definitions will be run. Let's run the product transaction. And try to insert a new product leaving its name blank. As a result, the rule added by the assistant is executed. Now let's ask the assistant to warn the user if they leave the price empty. For that, we go back to GeneXus Next and type, show the message you have not entered the price if the price was left empty. The assistant suggests adding the message rule. This rule, whose syntax is almost identical to that of the error rule, differs from the error rule in that if the condition is met, the message is displayed to the user as a warning, and they can confirm the transaction so that the product is inserted in the database whether or not that value is entered. We could have asked the assistant for the price control first and then for the name, and the result at runtime would be exactly the same. The reason is that GeneXus analyzes and determines when each of the defined rules should be triggered, regardless of the order in which they are written. This has been just an introduction to the subject. Please note that there are many more rules available to define different types of validations and actions.